Yo, we got another Captain America storyline, but this is a brand new storyline. Sort of, kind of, but this is probably a story you have not heard before because we are going to Captain America #1 by Chip Zdarsky. And man, what a awesome start this is. Yo, what are we waiting on? Roll that intro, cuz. Yeah. Yo, what's going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Earth Matt, the Mad Scientist, and welcome back to the Orange Phoenix Media channel and another episode of Comic Book Declassified. So today we are covering Captain America #1 by Chip Zdarsky, and there are two unique storylines in issue 1 of Captain America. And what I mean by that is this takes place a week after Captain America was discovered by the Avengers. Like, he's trying to get used to the modern world and what is going on, because last time he saw the world, it was in the 40s. He was fighting World War II. Now, the other story is young David Colton. Now, David Colton is a witness to 9/11. He was standing in the street when 9/11 took place. And as any person that was not in the armed forces, some people actually got a certain sense of patriotism, and he's no different. But the thing is, with David Colton, who's we're going to cover first, is that his life is somewhat parallel to Steve Rogers, because Steve Rogers was not at peak human strength. He was not always Captain America. He was an asthmatic. He was weak. He was smaller than everyone else in the armed forces. And the same applies to David Colton. As you can see in this panel, it's saying, like, listen, he's still out there. And like, who is? And pretty much the Army recruiter says, son, I told you it's time to go home. And he says, I can't, sir. He said, I won't leave until you let me join up, until you let me serve my. And before that, before you finish that sentence, he says, listen, you have severe, persistent asthma. Your vision is 20/60. And frankly, you look like a strong wind will snap you in two. I'm sorry, son. I really am. It's honorable that you will want to serve your country, but you need to find other ways. And he says, listen, I understand, sir, but this is all I think about anymore. That's the world has gone mad. And good, sane men are the only cure. So at that point, like, if you look at David Colton, like, his convictions is just like Steve Rogers, but in a modern storytelling. And his basic training wasn't for the weak at heart, man. I mean, look, he got bullied in school. He called his mom, and he's getting bullied in basic training. Like, the bigger, stronger recruits is pretty much putting his face in the dirt. Like, they're trying to make a man out of him. And if you really look at the drill sergeant's looking at all this stuff takes place. He's not making the move. He got his arms folded. He said, listen, this builds character. But the one unique thing about David Colton, just like Steve Rogers, he keeps getting up for more. Every time he gets knocked down, he gets back up. And he has a certain type of character about himself. But that even goes further with the drill sergeant pulling him out of his bed to consider also beating his ass. So I wouldn't even say consider it. He's already beating this man's ass. And still yet, David Colton refused to lay down. He refused to get up. He said, listen, I'm not crying. We still gonna go. And you're pretty much, his peers is looking out the window. And it was like, listen, do you see what's going on? Like, the Sarge has snapped. And he's like, listen, I'm not leaving. You're gonna have to knock me slam out to make me give up. Otherwise, you're not gonna hear me say those words, I give up. Now, you go to the hospital, and the sergeant's like, listen, it must be tiring being so damn feeble. Your soul, your spirit wanting more, your body saying no, but you didn't stay down. You didn't stay down. It's not in you, is it? So what if I told you, Mr. David Colton, the weakest damn recruit I've ever witnessed, that I could cure that asthma? So that at that point, if you really think about what's about to happen, it seems to me that David Colton will become a super soldier just like Captain America. Now, that's where that story ends. But now you got to go back to Steve Rogers. Now, Steve Rogers, again, this is a week removed from when he was discovered by the Avengers. So he's basically adjusting. Everybody that he knows is gone. Like the Howling Commandos is gone. Bucky is gone. This is a brand new world. He listening to the radio and he listening to certain things that is happening. And, you know, back then the UN did not exist, but the UN exists now. And it's the fact of not trying to have any other world wars. And you see him doing the casual, I'm going to handle the criminals in the street, but he always looking for something more. And the best thing that he knows as Captain America is that I need to go where I'm present. I need to go to the Pentagon. That's where I'm most comfortable because I'm with my peers. I'm not in wartime, but this is the only thing that I know. Everything that I know is not existent. But the other unique thing about this is not the actions of physical actions that Captain America takes. It's the words. It's his leadership skills. Like I always say that Captain America and Cyclops and Storm are, to me, the top 3 leaders in Marvel when it comes down to leadership or whatever. They may not be the most powerful beings in the world or whatever the case may be, but when it comes down to leadership and what they want to do with the people that are under them, they know there is a very high probability they will get led to victory. Captain America stops this guy that has a bomb strapped to his stomach. And he said, listen, hold your fire. He's got a bomb. He said, I do. And immediately Captain America says, you're military. He's like, how did you know? He said, listen, I know a military man when I see one, service and rank. Like it's almost like he's just in the field. He's like, look, what's your service and rank? He says, Army 2nd Lieutenant, 2 tours in the Gulf. And he's like, Captain Commandos, Infantry, World War II. He's like, that's impossible. And he's like, in this world, nothing's impossible. But I'm sure you've seen that, haven't you? Out there, far from home, things you never wanted to see, never thought possible. No, and he goes on to say, nobody cares. People just live their lives while everyone I know dies for nothing. Just, you're like, Lieutenant, whatever you're going through, whatever you're thinking, you accomplish here is just not the way. Death brings more death. I can help you, but for now, I'm asking, as your superior officer, stand down. And what happens is the coolest thing. Like, he hands the trigger over to Captain America. There was no violence taking place at Listen. He said, I just my guys. He said, I know, soldier. Now let's shut that thing down, okay? He said, I'm not sure if and then Iron Man shows up and basically defuses the bomb without even trying. But that wasn't the big part of it. The big part of it is Captain America and how he was able to talk a fellow service member down. And he actually dealt with PTSD, like in front of everyone. So that is the coolest thing about Captain America. It's his leadership skills. It's not that he's at peak human strength. It's not that he can throw a shield and knock people out all at the same time, which he very well can do that. But it is what it is. Now, also, remember I told you this is the early stages of Captain America. Like Iron Man asked him, hey man, you can come join the Avengers. And Captain America respectfully declined. He said, listen, so now it's time for me to go to base. And that's what I'm saying earlier, that he's going to the Pentagon. He's pretty much honing his skills. And this is where he gets his brief. And this is where your first introduction for Captain America to Dr. Doom. But to get the intel on Victor Von Doom, he goes to the Fantastic Four. And what's interesting is the dialogue between Reed Richards and Captain America. And it goes on to say, he says, Victor Von Doom. He said, apparently you know him well. He said, as well as anyone I can. I suppose we were in college together. He was a brilliant volatile. There was an accident. His face was scarred and he dropped out. A few years later, he resurfaced back in his home country, as well as, I suppose, if you have his file, you know. He said, I do. And obviously, so do the people above me, including the president. Doom's an autocratic madman who's been illegally entering America threatened its citizens after his coup in Latveria. He's destroyed the U.S. embassy there and taken our diplomats prisoner before the majority had a chance to flee. And Reed's like, all right, wow, that's what's going on. He said, we're putting together a covert strike force to go in and retrieve them before it's too late. And he said, listen, of course, the Fantastic Four would join you. And he said, listen, you can't. A lot's changed from when I first around, and it appears that America has a new atomic bomb, and it has you and your superpowered friends. The world is watching, scared. The UN is voting on a resolution banning extra-powered beings from military operations on foreign soil. He was like, well, okay, so if you don't want us to do this, what you want us to do? He says, my heavily documented wartime service has apparently created a goodwill exception for enhanced military. No country is willing to halt their super soldier program. So the super soldier program is still alive and well. So yes, he did get his information from Reed Richards. And Reed basically tells him, he said, listen, you are my father's hero, and quite frankly, you're mine too. And he gives him an action figure of Captain America, and Captain America responds, say, listen, does they have a Bucky Barnes action figure? And he says, yeah, they do. So at this point, they are going to Latveria, and you see Captain America in the brand new covert shield, covert suit. I wonder what's going to happen in the next issue of Captain America #2. Like, will he question his country's methods as far as what's going on? But this is only 1 week removed from being thawed out by the Avengers. But the thing is with Dr. Doom don't run empty-handed. Dr. Doom is not a slow leak. How will Captain America contend with Dr. Doom? Because you know this is not a clean operation. You know it's not a point where he's going to take the prisoners out of Latveria unscathed. He's going to see Dr. Doom. And with that, we are going to end it right here. Let us know in the comments below, what do you think about Captain America #1? Do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell. So until next time, y'all, peace.